Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kaethorin, and this is Kerbal Space Program. Today is episode 1 of Kaethorin Space Program. I decided to put everything at 4 times speed. The first 4 missions took about an hour and 5 minutes, including build time of everything. What you're seeing here is me just doing the basic starts of every mission in order to get the first area of the tech tree unlocked. You know, I'm at least not doing the spammy way of just throwing the command pod onto the launch pad, hopping out, doing an EVA report, hopping back in, and then recovering. Because that's really just unfair, I feel. That's kind of cheaty. But if you do it, it's okay. I'm not any the less upset if you do. But as you can see, I basically just make sure that I do all the science that I can within the first flight. And with that first flight, you see that I only got about 2 areas of tech tree unlocked. You can see that I basically was sitting there just deciding in between what one I was going to do next, if I was only going to get a couple more points on the next mission. But I guess that was kind of there. You see me building another rocket here. The first rocket that's actually going to be more than one part. I have mods installed. The mods I have installed are Kerbal Flight Engineer, I have Kerbal Interstellar, I have Fire Spitter, B9, and I believe the Tech Tree Editor. Yeah, the Tech Tree Editor is there, and there's some other things. I can't remember the other ones right now. But as you can see, I decided to go about this in a creative way. I was thinking originally 3 solid rocket boosters, and then I was like, no, 4. 4 will look cool. And it gave just a solid area to jump up on. I was thinking about adding on a stage where I just had one trying to push up all of it, and then I decided against it. But as I go through, I will also be explaining right now what you should be expecting in future episodes. In future episodes, I'm going to be doing missions to other planets and such, and building space bases around them. Orbital and landed, I do have Kaethorin installed. That's another mod. And the orbital constructor mod, so you can build your vehicles in space. It's kind of like the extraplanetary launch pad, but it's allowing you to do it in orbit. I felt that that was a lot better for me than getting something off, building something on the ground to get it up off the ground. If I build, say, an SSTO for Eve, I can mine Kaethorin on Eve, run the Kaethorin up from there into orbit, bring it back down, and all that I need to do is worry about that one craft being refueled, then constantly refilling every single craft that I'm building to go up and down, and then using the SSTO as well in order to move to different spots to mine. The orbital platform means I don't need to move my launching platform. It's always in motion. It's always in a different place, but it's able to actually be used. You see here, the mission didn't actually go as fully as I planned, but it's okay. Made it through. We had some pretty nice re-entry effects. If it wasn't sped up, you would have seen how long they lasted. It actually went from re-entry directly into Mach, it felt like. So it was really, really a cool just burn through of everything. And here I plant the first flag of the mission. As you can see right now, I don't have a custom flag. Actually, I'm looking to make one sometime. And as we recover, we're back at the tech tree, and you see me uncovering the last 2 areas of that tree. My debate really didn't matter at that point, and now I'm just going over about everything that's there. I'm thinking about what I'm going to grab, reading over because some parts I don't use that often, and I was thinking about starting to use every part. So I'm starting to read every single part again, and see what I can do with every part. And that's really about everything. There is a little bit of visual artificing going on. I had been playing for a while, so I had a lot of just built up, and the grass around KSC is actually pretty dark at times. I'm also recording by XSplit, so that's also part of it. For going up with this one, I figured this would be about pretty good time to try and get some form of suborbital flight. And as we do that, I'm watching my apoapsis go up and up and up. And I'm wondering, well, where could I get with this thing? I should be able to get pretty far. And I was all prepared, and then I warped past my apoapsis and completely fluked the mission, and well, sadly, you'll have to see what happens in the speed up. But as we're going through, you can see I'm changing my angle of inclination, and now that I'm back level, you can also tell that I'm going upward. So I make it in the orbit, just a small one, and going, this should have made it further. Where could I have gone had I made it further? I have so much fuel left. And I really do. I have a ton. And I'm wondering. And I'm like, I'm gonna EVA. And I forgot to turn on the Kerbals lights. But really all that I did was do a run around the ship on the dark side of the planet. I could see this fine. I'm sorry that you guys can't really see much, but you can see there the Kerbal engineer just blipping away. Blip, blip, blip. Recording all of our data. As we're going, gonna fly around, and you'll see that I did this kind of weird. Most times you'll wait till apoapsis because it's the higher point, it's easier to burn down your periapse. I decided that I was just gonna warp to periapse, full throttle it, and burn down. Now, this is where I actually noticed that I could have made it a lot further into orbit and still been able to come back perfectly fine if I used air braking or some form of litho braking once I deployed the parachutes. But I basically just emptied the whole thing, and you saw before I had over 100-kilometer apoapsis, and I'm now coming down in the middle of the desert, basically just below where I burned. I'm about, I'd say, 50 kilometers off, if you include the planet's rotation. And I actually I would have, if I had aimed for 50 kilometers shy, if the area that I was going to land in was 50 kilometers, I would have landed dead down from where I was at. You'll see here. Kind of a weird way for a Kerbal to be on a ladder and still be able to board. The flag didn't actually go down the way I wanted it to. It was kind of unfair. But you saw there, I unlocked the Kaethorin and radial chutes and some batteries. So my goal here is, okay, let's get a new science module up top, get rid of that, and let's throw the Kaethorin scanner on, because I know I can get somewhere now. I know I can get pretty far with just this small craft. And you'll see I added 2 sets of 3 batteries. I think it's 100 capacity? Yeah, they're 100 capacity. So I had 650 charge to use in space. And then you see I decided to add solid rocket boosters, and I think these actually helped me get to where I wanted to go the most because of the extra added weight. Because I noticed the inner stage there had about 50 meters per second left, and I'm kind of putzing around trying to think if this is going to help out enough. And I'm like, it should, just to make sure that I have enough torque though to keep it under control. And me and my OCD nature just kind of wanted to make sure everything faced in where Kerbals weren't. So it kind of looked like every outside area was working. As you can see, that was just a little XSplit bug. It lost game feed for a millisecond or two. Actually, it was more than a millisecond or two, so I had to wait. But flying up, I'm going, those little SRBs being my second stage are actually... They pushed me past my complete gravity turn point. Okay, so maybe I could use them and the big ones to complete a gravity turn with Ferrum Aerospace or some other realistic like mod installed. As you know, it's Kerbal gravity turn is not what you'd actually do here on Earth. As we go up on Earth, where I mean, we don't have the advanced stabilization that Kerbal has. We don't have the physical capabilities in real life to hold a craft straight against this much force, but that being said, you notice when we actually launch rockets, they kind of already start to fall in a ballistic trajectory immediately, and that's actually the most accurate way to do it. And I feel most efficient. It may not be most efficient, I don't know, I'm not a rocket scientist or anything, but it looks more efficient than what we do in Kerbal Space Program, burning straight up, fighting against the air, and then leaning into it. I feel that it's easier to not fight the air. Now you see here I'm playing with a moon encounter. I know that because I'm going to be running the Kaethorin scanner, I'm not going to have much power coming back, so I'm not going to have any form of energy generation. And I was like, maybe I'll try Min-Miss. Min-Miss was way off inclination, and all the burns that I could think of doing in order to try and help get me anywhere closer to Min-Miss. From the point that I was going from, I didn't want to just waste time in space, I wanted to get the mission done. Because I launched in perfect time to get to the moon in some form. I have to slow down to it, I believe. I think that's what I'm doing by going past it. I'm slowing down if I extend my orbit, but you see me here going, okay, free return trajectory is probably my best bet. So what am I gonna do? And I see that I can get this really close and almost perfect re-entry burn, and I'm trying to tweak it just a tiny bit, and I completely messed up and was like, okay, well, I'll take that. I'll go. I'll burn for that. So I warp around, get to the burn, and actually start thinking about it. I'm like, hopefully this burn's actually accurate. As I start to burn, going through, and we fly out, and I mess it up. I completely burn past it. Well, good job me. Okay, a little bit of an easy tweak. Delete the node. Let's see, okay, that works. Because I can actually tweak that in a little bit once I'm a bit closer, which is actually good. But I found basically the exact same trajectory that I had before, again, just by little tweaks, and warped out. I was trying to get the periapse there, actually. I wanted to watch to see if I could actually decrease it anymore. And you can see I got it as close as I could. And I basically just went down until I was at a double 1,000 digit rather than a triple 1,000 digit for kilometers above the moon, and then warped in. And once I got there, I said, I'm basically able to just point retrograde, and I should bring in my periapse pretty close. So, as you can see, I start burning retrograde a bit. I'm actually glad that I did this burn here, because at this point, I ran the science that I could, did another EVA, and you can see the Kaethorin scanner. Oh, what am I doing? What? Why did I bounce? I actually was flying at them like crazy. I'm not used to EVA. I never had a reason to EVA before, so I always used to just take missions and then only EVA to jump up and down. But you see me scanning here, and just on my entry, not even that far in, I got a bunch of keythane blips, and that's amazing, and they look really strong. So that's actually right along the equator, and then more and more, and then I run out of power, and I'm like, whew, glad I'm on a free return trajectory. And even with my free return trajectory, you can see here, I actually decided to burn a bit to try and make sure that I'd land over land at least. I didn't want to land in water. Or at least I wanted to try my best not to land in water. And I brought it up pretty high. And I decided, I'm not going to mess with it anymore because I can't turn around if I get too high into the atmosphere for this. And we blast through the atmosphere, parachutes out, Kaethane scanner, all happy-go-lucky, dead because it no longer has any power, shoots deployed, and it is another safe mission. And as we land, I would actually like to say thank you guys for watching. Again, my name is Kaethorin, and we're playing Kerbal Space Program. This is Kaethorin Space Program, and I hope to see you guys in the next episode.